Going here. Just give me 1 second to get the Zoom going for the stream.
Money on my mind, money on my mind. Little Rihanna. Throw it up, throw it up.
Okay. All right, we are going live right now. Okay, you guys, hello everyone and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackard.
And I'm Bianca Reyna.
And this is the Hustle Mystic Morning Show. Welcome. Today we're starting with Michelle Niver, and we are having just a delicious day following the energy the entire time. We're going to start learning about light language. We're going to learn about money energetics from our conversation. And then we are going to finish up today with playing in the Akashic Fields with Lisa Barnett. So I'm going to go ahead and let Lianca take over and introduce Michelle as I get the stream on the live page.
Yay! So good morning, everyone. Write on in the chat where you're joining us from. If you are on YouTube, also let us know what questions you might have for the different speakers today. And we are joined with Michelle Niver, who does psychic readings and light codes. Michelle Niver is a psychic medium and spiritual teacher, registered nurse health coach, and sound therapist with over 30 years of professional healthcare experience. And as the father of Sacred Awaken, Michelle blends her deep understanding of science and medicine with her spiritual gifts to help heal others and align with their highest potential. Her work bridges the gap between science and spirit, honoring the nervous system, which is super important, energetic anatomy, and the quantum principles. We call on the divine intelligence for deep multidimensional healing. So we're super excited to be speaking with her today. And I'll give Jeneth a quick second while she gets that on the live.
Michelle, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and pin you, and then I will keep figuring out why this isn't showing up exactly right.
Oh, joy. We get to do everything with the lives, right?
Sometimes I know there's going to be a day that I'll have an assistant that just trails behind and also comments on everybody and
I know, right?
Chews up the chat, but today is not that day.
Not quite yet, but soon.
We're getting there. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here and
give us just one more
connecting
second.
with all
We're
of
just
you.
going to double check the live. I mean, we love that we're able to do our stream live because it gives us the opportunity to interact directly with everyone on the line and have this really dynamic conversation as we're fast moving through the earth, right? As we're in real time. The only downside is it also comes with all of the live challenges. Many times people will pre-record all of their sessions. And so that's a benefit that most other summons have a little bit where they don't have to do as much technical difficulty, but we do love doing our show live. And so that is one of the benefits, but also sometimes some of the little bit of the snag as well. So hang on just a second and we'll get going.
It's up.
Let me double check.
Yeah, if you'll check, that'd be great because it, for whatever reason, it's
being normal. It's doing what
it's just not refreshing.
Technology.
There, it's up.
Yay.
Okay, fabulous.
Technology does, right?
Sorry for the delay, guys. All right, Michelle, hello.
Hello. Real world stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
I love that
you sometimes.
Well, we're walking in more than one world, so it's to be expected.
Yes, very much so. You know what? That might be where we want to kind of start.
I was going to just say that.
I was just reading and I was looking at the Schumann resonance and it was just like all over the place. And I thought, I have never even seen it be that crazy. And if you're not familiar with the Schumann resonance, it's also sometimes considered the heartbeat of the earth. And it usually has kind of like this level set uh, motion, and it's red basically. But when I looked at it, it was like this, like red out and white, and I thought, wow, that is intense. Which also might mean why we're experiencing in dual, being in two worlds at one time. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us are coming into that realization that we're not just here. It seems to be like a thread going through humanity right now of who am I and why am I here and why do I feel like I'm connected to other places as well? And
Yeah.
I just personally for me, it's really been growing in that I'm waking up during dreams. I'm waking up during out of body travel and in a way that I didn't before. And I truly do think that the energies that are coming through are different than they used to be, and that
Mhm.
the solar stuff is a big thing. And you mentioned the Schumann, and that those Schumann resonance, they correspond to our brainwave states. And so if we see disarray in the Schumann resonance, then we can expect there's going to be disarray within our own minds because
Yeah.
we're the direct correlation to that, and we're connected to that. And so let me hone in on that. We're going through a magnetic pole shift right now. The poles are literally not where they used to be, and they're on a collision course for each other in the Indian Ocean. And we're going to have a reset magnetically of that. And the
Mhm.
natural response of the magnetic protection around the planet is to diminish. So it's been measured that we're in a time of unprecedented cosmic radiation right now, and all of that is information coming from
Mhm.
outside of our realm that we're not used to feeling. And so that's kind of the second part of it is ascension symptoms is partly the energy being in disarray from man-made electromagnetics that we really can't ignore that's interfering with our own with the electromagnetics of the earth and with our own electromagnetics. But what spirit tells me all the time is that we can mitigate that by keeping our body and our minds more pure, that we're entering a state of being what they call new human, and that we can't do the same things that the old humans were doing, or it's going to be uncomfortable for us. And that includes the man-made electromagnetics, and then also the higher vibrational energies, you could call them, that are coming in. And some of that's from spirit. I think we're all being nudged right now to look harder at who we are and to look within at because the answers are truly within us, and we have access to that information no matter
Thank
who we are. I
God.
think, yeah, thank God, right? I don't think we were
Right.
ever meant to not know everything. Like
No,
I,
I mean, they've been saying that for eons, know thyself.
Mhm.
What are I've kind of had this sense that there's a control mechanism that was among Earth at one time, and that control mechanism is even breaking down at this time. And it's just a really delicious time to be alive, especially for us that know we're here for the ascension.
Yeah, they say it's the spirit says it's a real treat to come here. It's almost like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
prize to be able to come here because this is such an interesting experience that we're having. And
Mhm.
there are indeed control mechanisms, and I do think that they're breaking down as well. And I think that some people may not see them as breaking down; they may see them as getting stronger. And why are we being so oppressed? But the truth of the matter is, it's like they're in their dying stage, like a bug kicking up their legs, trying to do what they can, because so many people are waking up and remembering that we are a spirit having a human experience, and that nothing can really control us unless we have fear around being controlled.
Or we are programmed to be still in that control matrix, and
For
we
sure.
won't allow our belief system to go outside of that belief system of the one that we are raised on, the one on lack and limitation and scarcity and, the whole paradigm around this.
It's huge. It's so
Yeah.
true. And the vibrations of other people who are like in doubt and fear and anger, like especially as empaths, we feel that
Yeah.
literally vibrates into our heart vibrations, and we share those vibrations with each other. And so we are opposing that at this time.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I read in Dolores Cannon's work is that many times the higher self connected to source was talking about the world splitting off into two worlds, and one world having this still the very dense, the old paradigms and matrix, and the other being the new earth where people have woken up, who have ascended. How do you view that? Is that how you are speaking about this? And it feels like we really are there, like with all of these, and I always do that.
But we are there.
We are.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I always do this report about the, solar flares, and it kind of sounds redundant, but we are in that solar maximum because we're being blasted with so much light, which is light codes as well, from the sun. But how do you view the two worlds, and what do you say to people who might feel kind of scary about that, experience?
We have a choice about which timeline to be on. In any moment, we can switch our timelines with our thoughts and our emotions and our actions. But that I agree with both of you that timeline split has already begun. It began years ago, and I see a variety of different people in my life, and I can tell you, like, not everybody's living on the same timeline. The lives are very different from each other, and I am a bit of, I connect with a lot of people. So in my personal life, I'm pretty reclusive. And I feel like I don't live on the same timeline as a lot of other people. Like, my life is focused on spirituality and magic and all of that. And that's just that's where I stay. And so that's what I create, and that's what I draw to me. And then there's a group of people who are watching the news all the time and are in constant fear about whatever it is that's being projected there to cause fear.
Yeah.
And so they're living a very different life. Another example is I say this because I've been a nurse for a long time. It just feels natural to me to say that so many people are taking the route of empowerment with their bodies and being like, okay, wait, I can't put that same stuff in there anymore. I need to honor my temple for my soul a little bit differently. And then there's another group of people who are just saying, give me medicine to make my symptoms go away. So that's like really different lifestyles, really different manifestations. And I think we're already there. We're already on two different timelines. And I think that as the awakening continues, it's going to become more and more obvious to us.
I do watch the news a lot. And I know that it can affect me, but I grew up watching the news. That's what we did in our household. We woke up to it and stuff like that. So I always try to integrate maybe a gratitude, method or whatever before we even get started with the news, especially during COVID. But one of the things that I am really noticing is that my desire for that is changing. However, I almost feel like sometimes if I don't pay attention, then I'm being passive. What do you say to someone that's like, doesn't want to be passive, like, well, I just want to close my eyes to what's going on versus, being active and watching the news and stuff like that?
Well, I watch the news as well, because I'll start there, because I want to know what people are being exposed to. I want to know what's being said out there. So my strategy is to see it like a show and to realize in every moment that I can, okay, I'm not even human. I'm a spirit having a human experience, and all of this is temporary. And so I'm just going to like raise my perspective as much as I can and see, how would I see it outside the body? How would I see all of this from outside of the body? And just then the next part of it for me is why worry about something I can't change? Like,
oh my gosh, I just
right?
said this. Yes.
Those are almost that exact words.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And worrying's praying for what we don't want. So why would I want to do that? Instead, I'm manifesting in every moment, that every thought that I have. So if I see some disturbing news, then I'm going to start sending out positive vibrations around the situation. Because I'm part of the problem if I do something different than that.
Yeah.
So
we just said that.
Yep. That's awesome.
Back up and say that again, because I want this to really land, because even still, like Janet and I were talking about some of the really sad things that happen in the news, especially with, and I'm just gonna say it, with the shootings and stuff. My son goes to a Catholic school, and his mom, I felt nervous, exactly same age, could have happened. So I was like, I felt this, I dropped like this, and I could feel sad, and both of us kind of had that
Yeah,
sad,
that empathy.
and then I said, but if we stay here, Jeanette, then she knew exactly what I was saying. I was like, then we're only attributing to, we're not making anything better if
Mhm.
we just stay in this sadness and wanted to cry about it, because we can't change what happened there. And then also, you said just a second ago, you said something about if we're manifesting in every moment. And if so repeat that for me, because I think that's the part where I would love for people to really get, because even she and I know this work, but we had to remind each other in that moment, having a very real moment, that
Mhm.
we are always manifesting.
Yeah, and it can be really difficult because some of those things are so painful that we see there,
Hmm.
and we are all empaths in that way, and so we
Yeah.
feel it. And so I'm trying to remember your question. Uh, uh,
Remind us about the instant manifestations of
right.
frequency. Yeah.
Thoughts are things, and so every single thing we think, we're generating a frequency of energy, and we don't see it right away because we're here in what we call the physical. So it
Hmm.
takes a while to manifest into what we call, the physical.
Sometimes it takes a while. I'm just
Yeah,
wanting to
sometimes it
example
can
the
be
the
quick.
system just
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah.
true. Depending on what it is and how many other people are,
Yeah.
working with you in that way, and it just depends. But so in every moment we really are truly manifesting what we build our life as, and we're contributing to reality. We were all co-creating this reality together, and we're all connected through the vibrations of our hearts. In fact, we're connected through the whole vibration of this reality. I think we're consciousness projecting ourselves into some sort of virtual reality. We're in a network of information, and we're all connected in that way, and also through the larger consciousness system or source. And so whatever we're putting out there is being felt and being experienced in some way by the world. And we may not always see that right away, because like, again, for a lot of things that we try to do here in the physical, it can take more than a second to manifest, whereas outside the body, it comes right away. So sometimes we think that, our thoughts don't matter that much, but they do. And in fact, even how you feel about your thoughts creates a
Oh,
certain type of
wow.
energy, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I have a responsibility as a participant in this reality to try to control my emotions around difficult situations, because I don't want to amplify that. And I study a man called, his name is Tom Campbell, who's one of the original out of body people with Bob Monroe years and years ago. And he speaks of this reality as a chaos reduction trainer for the soul. And I really do think about that in all the moments where I just want to lose it. I think about that, like, okay, 1 second, Michelle, you get to lose it for a second, and then you got to move on, because you don't want to create that for yourself
Right.
or for other people. Yeah.
Right. Do you give yourself that little bit of moment so that you
Hmm.
can actually feel your feelings and not just
Hmm.
graze over them? Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure, because we're meant to have those feelings. We're not meant to
Feelings.
avoid
Yeah.
them. We're meant to know what they mean, right? So I'll make the analogy. I do this all the time, where if I put my hand on a hot burner, it's only meant to do one thing when it burns, is to get my hand off of that, so I take another direction. And so I think all those difficult emotions that we're feeling are meant to push us in a different direction, or to teach us something important that we need to learn. And sometimes we came here to experience some very difficult situations for the purpose of not just our own soul growth, but for the growth of source, and for the growth and of our guides. So I think we're here for a variety of reasons, and
Well, and
that,
I think we need to stop looking at ourselves as separate. We need to start looking at ourselves as a part of the oneness that we actually are. I
yeah.
think that separation is
Yes.
one of the things that really, holds it in place. When in our next conversation, I said we just really need to start with this is going to challenge your belief system.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? And in a way, every one of these calls will probably challenge people's belief system. But I think there's so many people that are like, I'm in it just for me, just for me, just for me, just for me. And, I need to get, 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 get. And I really feel like it's more important these days for us to start going, no, we need to be the contribution
Hmm.
to this greater source and this greater purpose on this planet.
And we are, I agree, and we are a fractal of source. We are a
Mhm.
spark of source or God. And that information is accessible to us when we tune into it. It's just that we've been taught our whole lives to tune into the intellect and to the logic. And we have this whole other side of us that's always there and ready to work for us, but we have to tune into it, learn to tune into it.
Yeah.
So we're always connected to the information, and via going through it within, we find out everything. It is possible.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're a master at helping people really get and learn light language. So let's dive into that a little bit. Why don't you start with where light language, started to come through you and in a way that you realize, wow, I actually have a talent and a capacity for this. And then talk about how it also contributes back to source and the oneness of what we actually are.
The way it started, I didn't remember the way it started at first. So the way it started as an adult was I had been on a 2-month cleanse with my body and just like really trying to clean up as much as possible. And I was meditating daily, and I was starting to learn to channel in English. And I was just doing that pretty regularly. And one morning I woke up, it was January of 2017, and I woke up and I went to say something to my husband, and it came out in another language. And
Mhm.
I didn't know what it was. I really did wonder if there was something wrong with my brain or if I had a brain tumor or something. And I
Yeah.
searched and searched because back then in the early 2017, it was kind of hard to find other people who were speaking about light language, and I didn't know what to call it. So I searched and searched, and finally one day I found a woman who I've never heard of. She was just a normal person in Canada, and interestingly, a retired nurse. And she was
Okay.
speaking this thing she called light language, and she was speaking the same words I was speaking. And I was like, how is this real? How is this even possible? And so then I started remembering that my sister and I did it when we were little. And then I started thinking about how my mom did this thing called speaking in tongues, and we just thought she was nuts. But I was like, oh, wow, I think that's what's happening here. And, um, and so I started doing it in front of people. I contacted a local healer and I said, what do you think about this? And she said, I'd like you to join me and collaborate with my sound bath. So I started speaking it to people, and people were feeling better. So then I started doing it on my own. And a man from India came and said I was speaking Hindi and Sanskrit. And that was like the most mind-blowing moment of my life, probably. And I am. And so anyway, I started just using it for healing for people. And I was doing readings as well. And one day at the end of a reading, Spirit said, tell them they can speak light language. And I was like, no,
Mm.
I'm not doing that. So we got 5 minutes left. It's going to open up a whole can of worms. And I don't know I don't really know if they can or not. So I did it anyway. And because it was such a strong push for me to do it. And I told them, and they said, I don't know what that is. And I said, well, do you want to try? And so Spirit had me have them repeat a series of words after me, and they just started speaking it. And I went, oh my gosh. So then the next day it happened again. And then it happened a whole bunch of times. Like in 1 month, they kept telling me to tell people. And I was like, all right. And all but one person I don't remember how many people it was in that month, I just started speaking it almost right away. And so I realized that this was years ago, and I realized that I started realizing that it was built into us. And I started trying to figure out the reasons why it would be built into us. Like, how would I know Hindi and Sanskrit? Right? I've never been exposed to that. And so through my studies of consciousness, I realized, oh, okay, we're consciousness exerting ourselves or expressing ourselves through this reality that's probably not even what we call physical. And it's a network of information. So why wouldn't we have access to all those different languages?
Yeah.
Plus, right, we can end up, because of free will, anywhere on the planet that we want to. And we have such an easy way of learning languages that I started thinking, oh, it must be built into us. And then I started learning that our DNA was a storage device and an antenna. Both of those things have been scientifically proven. And I went, oh my gosh. So we've lived a lot of lives. We're in a virtual reality. We've got a lot of programming around language here. We've brought memory through past lives of different languages, probably galactic languages and ancient languages as well. And our DNA a gram of our DNA, smaller than my pendant, can hold over 215,000 terabytes of information, and it clicked. That's who we are. It's built into us, and it's one of our most basic spiritual tools that we can use to adjust our electromagnetic field or change our vibration. Yeah. So
I
I
truly
think,
believe that it's built into us. And I believe that everyone has telepathic capacities, and everybody on this planet can be a psychic medium. Some people just haven't practiced or tried to awaken it. And they've been
100%.
told to shut it down since the beginning because they were crazy. Stop having those imaginary friends.
And sometimes it's worse than that. Like, I was a really crazy kid, and I was seeing all kinds of really negative things. So I would be like screaming that there's a man pointing a gun through the window, and nobody else would see it. And so by 12, I was on medicine. So you're right. Like, we're trained to like not accept that aspect of who we are. It's like, oh, if you live in the Western world, then you're just crazy. So that's not true, though.
No, I know. I think we're finding that a lot. What do you say to someone who really wants to bring their light language online and they may be afraid, right? Or any of their
Afraid of the
gifts.
judgment of this reality around
To know if it's yes, and that is one of the things that they could be afraid of, right? Because I've experienced, I had that as well. I was afraid of the judgment. I was afraid of myself, but I also was afraid of, I grew up at a time where the Ouija board was demonized, where our family was like, oh, don't do that tarot stuff, right?
Right.
And connecting always meant that you were connecting with something negative, right? So I then would close off any of these channeling abilities that I innately had. So what do you say to somebody that might be feeling like, oh, I don't want to open that up?
Yeah, well, it's who you are already. You can choose to ignore it if you decide to, but if you do decide to open it up, it's a world of new possibilities for manifestation and for changing your nervous system and for getting information from your guides and from God in a subconscious way that bypasses your conscious mind and works through giving you urges and ideas about what to do next. And so you're right, judgment is huge. When I first started doing it, I was like tuning my Facebook page so only certain people would see it. Like, the people who knew me as a nurse wouldn't see it. And so I was like, got tired of that pretty quick. But I just recently had an experience where I was on YouTube and a video came up about light language, and I clicked it, and it was someone making fun of light language. And so that's out there, right? I see it all the time. There's a lot of people who really doubt this and who are afraid of it. Now, the other part of it is that light language is partly us channeling our own soul energy, but it can also be channeling higher other dimensional consciousness. So it can be your guides that you channel through light language. It could be, if you're not doing well, if you are having a lot of difficulty, you could end up channeling something negative through light language. And I do know someone that happened to. She was having a very difficult experience in her life, and she got really mad, and she started using light language, and something very negative came out. And the only reason I know is her mom called me, and she's like, something bad's happening. So that's very, very rare. But it could happen. And so I think there might be some fear around negative beings coming through. Again, it's pretty rare, especially if you're using light language for the purpose of connecting with your soul. You're probably not going to get something lower dimensional. But
I guess that would be more of a channeling of something else, not necessarily light.
Right.
Yeah.
Darkness, dark language. But also, people are afraid. Like, I hear this all the time. What if I'm making it up? What if I'm doing it wrong?
Yeah.
And nobody has so far. It's really been real. And I hear people like talking the same languages. They don't know each other, but I'm like, oh, I recognize that. I heard somebody last week doing that. And so that's a big part of it, is like, what if I'm faking it? What if it's not real? That's so common. And so there's no way to really let that go except to trust and try it. And so what tends to happen in sessions is I will do a little energy work on people with light language, and then I will have them just repeat a series of words after me. And they repeat those words, and then they just start speaking. Sometimes they have to repeat the words several times, but it triggers something within people, and then their own innate light language starts coming out. So I think I'm trying to drive home the point that it really is part of who you are. And
Yeah.
the only person I heard like what I call fake it at first was someone who did end up speaking it. But at first, he's like, I'm just thinking of weird country names. Can I start there? I said, yeah, just go ahead
Oh,
there. He's like Zimbabwe, and he started saying
Mhm.
different names, and then boom, he spoke a whole sentence in Italian, and he doesn't know Italian, and so
wowzers.
Interesting.
I
Now,
know it was really interesting.
Yeah.
so does light language tend to sometimes sound different in dialect to other people's? Because so I had a really intense light language session this morning, and I've had this before. I've even had it like way before I was even doing my spiritual journey. In fact, I was drinking wine and I showed my husband kind of weirdly, and I was like, I don't know what this is, and he's looking at me like cross-eyed, like, woman, you need not to be drinking wine. And I thought, oh my gosh, but I don't drink anymore. And I still was having these really big, have you ever heard of somebody having, one day I was speaking the light language and it was coming so fast. And then finally I heard, just relax. If you're willing, we want to use the network, and could you be that for us? And for you, for us. And I said, okay. So then I just allowed it to go, and I had that happen today. I just allowed it to be, for whatever reason it needed to communicate here, I guess, on Earth. I'm not sure, but I was almost like a conduit, like a for
Yeah.
wherever it needed to be. Have you heard of this before?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what was happening is you acted as a conduit for some energy that needed to come through. And because of the way that you work and you're always working in the highest good to enlighten the world, then I think that that's probably the kind of energy that came through you. And that happens to me all the time. Like suddenly, I don't know why, I'm just like driving and suddenly I'm like, oh, gotta open my mouth, gotta let it through. Or
Yep.
I'll be thinking about like
That's
we have a
one
lot
way.
of like fires in the area. I'll think about a particular place and think about the fires, and then suddenly I'm like, oh,
Yep.
I've got to
Oh,
speak light language to change the energy of the
Oh,
situation.
oh,
neat. I'm gonna
got
do
So
that
it.
more. I'm gonna focus more on that.
yeah, and
I got it.
we can reach any area with it. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be in our immediate
Yeah.
circumstance because again, we're not really even here. So
When I was
I
channeling
got
the Arcturian dragons at one point, they told me, I was like, are we speaking and how is it so clear English telepathically in my head? And they
mm,
said, well, we can speak like blah, blah, blah amount of, you know, dialects or languages and dialects fluently because of this telepathic ability, and you can too. And
mhm.
I was like, well, how? And they're like, you're follow the path. I mean, just, just this is just, practice and awakening and bringing in light codes and following and awakening and bringing in light codes. So it does seem that I might be fluent in Italian if I'd really want to channel Italian, right?
It's more about the vibration that comes through and
Yeah,
not so much the language or the meaning of the words, although
sure.
it can make
I wouldn't
sense.
know what it meant, but
Yeah,
maybe I do because when I do light language, it's like I get kind of it's like it's
the
more
gist
than
of
a
it.
picture,
Right,
right? It's like
right.
more than 1,000 words. And
Because
then I'll kind of get like the frequency that goes with it, and I can speak in English to what it really means. And it's just been dynamic working with it and just growing it.
it's already
Yeah,
encoded in you. Those languages
yeah,
are in you. And also
yeah.
I'm not sure that spirit world gives us actual words, but they give us energy and our brain
Mm,
could make it into words. And also you're entering into a data stream of another reality in part
mhm.
when you're connecting in with Arcturian dragons.
Right.
You're not just like we said earlier, walking in more than one world. We're all doing that. And so when you enter their data stream, you have access
That's
to the
it.
languages that they use.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, of
That makes
course.
total
I
sense.
love that.
Same as you
Because
have the data stream here that we can get all the
yes,
languages. Yeah.
yes.
I'm wondering today if we can do an activation for the people that would like to receive some light language. Maybe you can do a light language activation to help people receive, to start playing with this light language, or
Or
I would
what do
be.
you feel called
What?
to share with tuning in with our audience today too? So we don't want to narrow it down for you.
No, that sounds good. I think that's wonderful. And so that we could do it one of two ways, or both, actually. The way I normally start an individual session is by tuning into the energies that are with me, and then I start to speak a light language that will transform the electromagnetics of the situation, just to open people up, open up their aura, open up their chakras, and give them that stronger connection to their soul energy. And then the second part of it is when you hear me speaking it, it'll stimulate something within you, even if your light language is different than mine, which it may or may not be. It probably will be. So it'll activate you in some way just to hear it. And then if you want, after that, you could repeat words after me like I do in the session. Sometimes I do this in a group at my office in near Eugene.
Be happy to.
And then you could repeat the words. And then if you want, you could just see what comes out when you start speaking. So it takes this willingness to just open your mouth and not know what's going to come out. And that's the hardest part for everybody, is just not knowing what's going to happen. And so it may not happen while we're here on the Zoom today, or on the show today, but when we hang up, you can watch the replay again. You can repeat those words again that you repeated today. And then when you're on your own, just repeat them as much as you can. And then just start letting your mouth move and let anything that comes out come out. And you may be surprised that you start speaking light language. It's just truly a mind-blowing thing that this is happening with humanity. And
I know.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And if it does, write in and let us know if you feel so inclined.
Oh, please do. Yes. And let me know
When I started
too.
the show in like 2009 and 2010, this wasn't a thing at all.
Right?
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
and now it's like all over.
That's that
It
awakening.
just so makes you feel lighter.
It is
Yeah.
that awakening for sure.
Yeah. And that's so common. That's the most common people say about it. And maybe that's why we call it light language, but they say it makes me feel lighter. It makes me feel better. And like if I get in a difficult situation, especially like driving in traffic, if it's a lot of traffic, someone cuts me off, I can almost not hold it back. I've got to speak it. And then it's like,
Yeah. No, I feel the same way about it. It's so awesome.
okay, well, this will be fun. I'll just get quiet and connect with the guides, and whatever comes out, I'll let out to help everyone get connected in with light language of their own innate light language. And then I'll just say a word, and you can repeat it if you'd like to. And then I'll say another one. I'll give you time. I know everyone's muted, so I'll just give time for everyone to repeat. And then after, you can, I'll just say, see if you can speak something. If you decide you want to try, go ahead. And then down the road, if you do start speaking it, I love getting messages from people with recordings of their light language. People are like, is this real? I love hearing those. And of course, you're always welcome to book a session, but literally you can send me a message of your light language and I'll get back to you.
Yay.
Okay. Let me get quiet and connect in. We have a Divine Mother Collective assisting us with this today. Naya Sutura Maya Kitin Ashum Maya Kutana Kitawa. Norasamuka Iti Oshnaya Iti Otumaya. Om Maki Alatuta Yasuda. Isatura Sutama Kuye. Ye Om Maiti Om. Halan Otoki Namo. Isanaku Iti Oka. Ye Umae Oyasiara Suga. Ye Oe. Oe Umakitala Sotu. Isa Ingsti Alano tu. Isa kum. Isa Ingsti Halanatum. Latula iti otuma halan ingsti halan shondorian. Namo. You can repeat after me. Omo,
Omo,
ingsti,
Ingsti,
halan.
Halan,
Omo halan.
Omo Halan,
Ingsti shondorian.
Ingsti,
Shadorium.
Tumaya
Tumaya.
shondorian.
Shandorian,
Ingsti halan.
Ingsti Halan,
Ingsti omo.
Ingsti Omo,
Tukwana
Tukwana
Omo.
Omo.
Tukwana Omo Inksti.
Tukwana Omo Inksti.
Halan.
Halan.
Shandorian.
Shandorian.
Almost said it in English. Shanti Om
Shanti Om.
I Halan I.
Halan I.
Omo
Omo
Inksti.
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 Halan.
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 Shandorian.
Shandorian.
Now's a good time to just see what comes out when you try to speak. You can repeat any of those. Yeah, ha, ita, ita, utpa, kta, ha, ditu, ha, yeah. Oh, I recognize that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm curious if anyone else tried and
really
if
light though.
anything happened.
Too. Like it's like my heart's beating so fast.
Mine is too.
Mine slowed down. It's nice.
So funny.
It needed to.
It was so funny that came through so fast.
And
Wow.
so you were speaking pretty quickly, but you'll notice like you can slow that down too, and you'll start hearing individual words.
Dana just said hers came through too. So
Oh, yay. Dana, were you already speaking it, or is this new for you?
She's had some moments that she has.
Nice.
She's in her inner circle. I have this, dragon roar that goes with mine. Do you hear that a lot? That
Yeah. I know someone who does that like
Uh-huh.
constantly when he does it, and I'm sure it's some sort of archaic dragon energy that comes through. And I have a dragon one too, but it's different than that. It's kind of harsh when it comes through. It's really different than what I just did. And so you may notice that a variety of different languages start to come through you depending on what you need at the moment or what the world
Yeah,
needs
it
at the
used to
moment.
be, it maybe still is, and maybe it's a different language, but like a lot of naka tuka haka tuka ha. Like it almost sounded like a, rain dance or something.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
that too. And it's very calming to the nervous system when you can really focus on that and engage in that. And another interesting thing that I should probably mention is that when we focus in that way, we do change our electromagnetic frequency to one that is scientifically shown to be more psychic. Like there's a whole group of children who are reading with blindfolds on. They're riding bikes with blindfolds on, and they can see the reality with a blindfold on through like a opening that happens with their eyes closed. They can see. And the reason that that happens is that they're spending time in this focused attention and a very laser-like meditative state. And then boom, it opens up and you can see into other realities. And so when you use light language in that very calming nervous system relaxation way where you're very focused, you turn yourself into that same frequency to be more psychic.
Wow.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I feel like I don't have English words to ask. Oh my goodness. It's so funny, like how this evolves through us though too. And so interesting how we are resistant, and then finally it just opens up. Do you want to talk about what people can do to move through that resistance with greater ease?
Yeah. One thing you can do, and probably a lot of your listeners are already doing this to some degree, but I found that the more connected I stay with this type of information, the less weird it seems. Like the more we're in this world of people who don't talk about this, but 10 out of 10 people who talk to me, and it's a lot of people, they all are interested in this, but they're all afraid to talk about it. They're not all, but a lot of them are afraid to talk about it with other people. And so I find I like certain shows like on Netflix and stuff, but I find that if I do that all the time and I don't tune in to spiritual stuff enough, then I even start to have doubt, even though this is my job. I start to have some doubt. And so every time I drive somewhere, I listen to something spiritual. Every time I have some downtime, or I'm like cleaning the house or washing dishes or taking, I don't know, just whatever that I can, I'll just put something on the speaker on my phone and carry it around with me and listen to something. So like staying connected to that information and learning
Yeah.
new information all the time, like keeping your mind open about what's happening. Well, of course, having discernment, just staying connected to it. Then the other part of it is, and I noticed this years ago when I started to do this regularly, do readings regularly, that one month I said, okay, I'm just going to do like a really good special, and I'm going to do as many readings as I can. And I did a whole lot of readings that one month. And so almost every day of the week, I was connecting in with spirit in some way. And at the end of that month, I was like, wow, I really feel way more connected and way more interested in making this grow more and more. Uh, once I like stayed connected more or less. Like I didn't get disconnected because I was working 4 or 5 days a week. And then on the days off, I was like, I got to get better at this. I got to get better at this. So the more you can connect in with other people talking about spirituality, the more you can spend time having experiences and keeping track of them, you'll start to notice that you're having psychic experiences, and then you'll get more and more empowered to continue connecting. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is just to connect and to stay connected.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
the other thing too is that our nervous systems are very much disrupted by some of the frequencies that are going on in our world, and some of those frequencies are in the air, and some of them are electromagnetics, like cell phones and Wi-Fi and that kind of thing, electromagnetic pollution. And then there's also pollution in the foods. And again, like the new human, they're saying can't eat the same things as the old humans. Like we have a more sensitive antenna now, and so much more information is coming through that the cleaner we can keep our system, that the more obvious that communication that's
Yeah.
always there happening to us will be. And so I think that's a big part of it too. And it definitely was for me. Was I used to just eat whatever I wanted, but it was
Yeah.
after I very much tuned my diet to something that's not inflammatory in any way, that things really grew a lot. And then,
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that's huge. Yeah, there's so many talks about like what we're doing to calcify the pineal gland. And there are
yeah,
actually things we can take to I guess decalcify it, like spirulina, and there's other things like that you can just put into your shakes and things like that to, you know, purify your pineal gland, which is really the gland that helps us connect beyond what we are.
yeah. And it's worth
Yeah.
taking a look at things like fluoride and heavy metals too,
Yes,
because those are known
absolutely.
neurotoxins, and a lot of people
Hmm.
have that. I personally had all my old fillings removed out of my
Yep,
teeth
I did that
because
too.
that off gassing that happens, and then um, fluoride is
Our
pretty
water.
big culprit. Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
water. So I have one of those Berkey gravity fed filters, and I put the fluoride filters in there as well, because even though you may not live in a town that fluoridates, like, so you may not know this, but so many of the pharmaceutical medications are made with fluoride. And so
And they're put down our sink,
but also people are
and we're,
peeing and it's in their pee. So
oh, yeah,
it's going in the water system, not to be
yeah,
gross, but it really is happening. And so
wow,
you want to filter your water in some way.
yeah,
Grounding too, like the earth is information. It's got energy coming out of it, literally, that goes into our bodies, scavenges free radicals, decreases inflammation, and will connect us. When
mm,
all that cosmic radiation's coming in, get grounded, get
wow.
your feet on the ground, and you'll just discharge all those energies, at least to a large degree, that don't belong there.
Mm.
So
I have
earthing.
this grass in my front yard. It's called barefoot grass. And
Oh,
I'll just go out there and lie in it, especially if I'm just tired. It's just like so rejuvenating, so
it really
crazy.
is. There's electrons that come out of the earth, and they literally do scavenge free radicals in our body.
Mm.
Nice.
That's
Mm.
awesome.
It
We've
is.
got little fairies and sprites working on us, the
We do.
elementals.
We
I love
I
do.
that.
never really thought of it. And by intention alone, we can activate even more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we thank them and for helping us, they want to connect with us. Like everything loves gratitude. Like it's a
Yeah.
way to really attract something.
Yes.
Mm.
We had a couple of cute couple
gonna ask,
questions
go
on the
ahead,
chat. You go ahead.
Well, there was one. It says, Romani said, exactly how do I listen to spiritual videos and live talks while I'm doing housework, including right now? LOL. I did let her know that she could always listen to our show. So that's always a free resource on our channel at YouTube. So just search How and Hustle, and you'll be able to connect with all the different speakers and hear them on the back end. But also, do you have any resources that you'd like to share?
Well, I love Tom Campbell. He is a physicist that talks about our existence here in a virtual reality of sorts, having this experience to learn and to grow our souls, and also to help the larger consciousness system evolve and source energy evolve. So, if you're interested in that kind of thing, he talks about the physics of our soul and what happens after death. He talks all about that stuff. And he's got so much information on YouTube that there's no way I'll possibly listen to all of it. So Tom Campbell is his name. He wrote a book called My Big Toe, it's a trilogy, and it's my big theory of everything.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's very interesting. Some people don't like him because he can kind of reduce the reality down to something more mechanistic sounding, but I get it. It's like we can be a soul and virtual reality at the same time. This makes sense to me.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
So he does a Q&A all the time. He's always doing these Q&As where people just submit their questions and he's answering them. And it's really interesting to listen to him. And then I was just thinking of someone else. Darius J. Wright is a very interesting person to listen to. He is an avid and experienced, adept out-of-body experiencer. I took his class on how to experience consciously out of body, and it was a phenomenal class. But he has a lot of different videos online on YouTube, and he's been interviewed by a ton of people talking about how we are a soul having a human experience and how we have forgotten who we are. It's very empowering information to listen to. All of your audience has probably heard of Greg Braden.
Sure.
And let's see, Bruce Lipton, worrying is praying for what you don't want. So he's a great one to listen to. And for me, I just listen to new people. The summit has been really interesting. I've been tuning in where I can and just picking up things from different people. And once you start listening to spiritual information, like if you just you don't have to have your own YouTube channel, but if you have your own account, then your feed will start getting tailored to what you watch a lot. So like now I always have new people coming up. I'm like, oh, never even heard of them.
Yeah.
And so I live a half an hour from everything. I live in a very small town, and so I just turn it on my phone. Like we can stream, even with just cellular data.
Gaia.
So I just listen to stuff when I drive. This morning when I was taking a shower, I just put the phone on and listened to one of your shows from yesterday. Stuck it in the shower. So I have a thing over my camera so no one can see me. But someone tapped into my camera. There's so many ways you could do it, these days with technology.
Well, I think a few people would like to ask some questions. Are you good taking a few callers?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Go ahead and raise your hand. Anybody who wants to ask Michelle a question. And we have this question. I think she just might have misheard us on the chat, but she's like, how do you remove the old feelings in your teeth? And it's actually fillings, and you have a dentist do that. So I just wanted to put that
reiterate
there.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes.
Yeah. Great.
You can get a biologic dentist. Yeah.
Dana, if you want to unmute, you're up.
Yep.
Hi, Michelle, everybody.
Hi. Hello
So
again.
I had a really crazy experience. Well, not really crazy, but it was just really interesting the way it unfolded. And as you were saying too, like about the dream state. Well, early in the morning, I receive a lot of messages. And early this morning, during my lucid time, I call it, I heard your full name, Michelle Niver. And I didn't receive the full message because other things were happening and there was children around and stuff like that. But so then when I woke up, I went and laid back down, and then I had a vision of you in a Hawaiian dress walking downstairs and greeting like people. And then you got to me and you said my full name. And then you said, I won't, even though I'm not keeping my last name, which I'm not, I'm going to be divorcing. But they were saying to ask you that I'm supposed to ask you something about shamanic practices. Not that I need to do it, but that there was something there. And they didn't really tell me anything else other than when I said got it, they said not to say got it because that closes the message, but to say keep that I'm receiving, and then I'll receive the full message. It has something to do with trusting what I'm receiving during these times, but there's something specific. And I thought it was so wild how it unfolded this morning here. And I didn't even know you were on today. And
That's amazing. And you pronounced my name right. That's pretty amazing. What I heard when you were talking is that you're already doing some shamanic practices and that it's your nature to move energy in that way. Are you connected to the spirit world in some way?
Yes, lots of different ways I am. A lot is unfolding all at once on the earth plane, as well as galactically. And I know that I'm between worlds a lot. And I know that has to do with the shamanic, what they were bringing up. And I was a shaman in a past life, but they didn't give me specifics that I was supposed to be asking you.
Yeah, you have a specific ability to assist with the spirit world, and I'm seeing more specifically earthbound spirits that haven't crossed over yet. You have now, I think with practice and with instruction, a lot of people could work with earthbound spirits to assist them, but you're one of the people they're showing me who's already has been prepared. It seems like you've been working on yourself for a long time.
Just last night, I was doing this with children,
Yeah.
like helping them cross over in joy and not fear.
Yeah, that's part of your purpose, is you have a natural ability to assist spirits in crossing over. But the shamanic way of doing it is not always the safest way of doing it. The shamans will often try to reason with the stuck ghost or the stuck spirit to try to get them to go on their own. But what I found in my practice is that I've had some of those people come to me afterwards because they ended up with attachments, and this happened to me once as well when I tried to talk a spirit into where they needed to go. And so spirit showed me another way to do it, and bypassing actually not really bypassing the earthbound aspect of that spirit, but you create a state of resonance and coherence within yourself, and then the method revolves around you connecting in through intention with any and all earthbound spirits that are in your vicinity, or if you know who it is, you can use their name, and then calling on their higher self to come and retrieve those energies. And that way there's like a bypassing of the earthbound spirit who would have crossed if they understood in the first place. So they don't understand, and they're not always amenable to instruction. So going to the higher self of those spirits and thanking them for retrieving any of the earthbound energies that were left behind by a person, and taking them back to where it serves the highest good for all there is. Like, I think sending them to a specific place is way above my pay grade. So I leave that to spirit. But again, we can, with our own state of gratitude and love and intention, focused intention, we can create a coherent state for a stuck ghost. And so you have a natural ability to get into that state, is what I heard.
Okay. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just learned about the children this morning. Like, they were telling me what it was about, because I thought I was like babysitting in my dream state, my lucid state. And they were saying, no, you're helping them, because we had pogo sticks and we're doing all kinds of things. And they said that's what I was doing, helping them to go to the light on their own, but through joy.
That makes sense, because that is the true answer to how to cross over. If you don't have joy, it's hard to have what's called implosion capacity for your consciousness to get out of the brain and enter into the larger network of things. And so that's what you're doing, is you're creating that state for them via you. And it makes sense you had pogo sticks and that it was fun. That's exactly what stuck spirits need. Wow, that's amazing.
That's cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, nice to meet you in spirit as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Savannah.
Or Lana?
Savannah?
Lana, sorry.
You're
You
up.
can mute. And let us know how you say your name. Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
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 My English is not so perfect, but I'm going to try because it's important for me.
Great.
So I believe that I have activated light language already. So it happened this year after I activated my light body, Merkaba. but I would like to ask what I have to do with this. And it's every time it's different. Sometimes I just speak, and sometimes I just sing as dolphins. So, and I see dolphins.
Yeah,
So I
so
need some advice what I have to do, because I am quite new with all of this stuff. And
it's for you, is what I heard. And so it's, remember, it's a vibrational, they're vibrational languages, even though they're real words from different languages, oftentimes that we can identify. It's really about the vibration that those words make. And so when you were talking, I heard it's all for you right now. Like you're being, I don't know what word to use, maybe trained to expand your light language. But what's also happening is not just your light language that's going to expand, your ability to tap into spirit will expand as well. Your ability to be more connected in a spiritual way. You have mediumship abilities that I just heard about. When I say that to a person, I mean, I think that everyone has natural mediumship abilities, but I only will say it to people who are already using it in some way. You may not be completely conscious of how you're using it, but they tell me that you are already beginning a journey of mediumship in some, however you're going to decide to use that, and that your light languages are going to keep changing in part because it's part of the preparation for this for you, or a continuation, I should say, of preparation, where you're going to be given different frequencies to, for lack of a better word, upgrade your system to be able to carry more light and to receive more frequencies, is what I heard is happening to you. And so all you need to do is just let it flow. That's all you have to do, is just let it flow and trust it. And you're also going to start getting ideas about things because you're being spoken to and receiving, again, for lack of a better word, downloads about what you need to do in your life. And so those will come through ideas that you have and urges that you have, but you're not in the beginning. You're more along the path than that. You're, in terms of moving forward into a more spiritual experience as in this life, is what I heard. Does that make sense to you?
yeah,
So
thank
just
you
let
very
it,
much.
yeah, let it flow. It's for a purpose, and that purpose has to do with your soul's growth and with also assisting other people in bringing through energies and messages from the spirit world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you have to be a professional psychic. I mean, you may help your family with it, you may help yourself with it, but it's happening, it's coming online for you more, and they're vibrating you in such a way for it to do that.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
We had a question from the chat from Tiffany, and she said she got told that her itchy skin was an Initin, shamanic energy. Any insights into that?
So by a guide.
Or
Mhm.
okay, told by a guide, and it's spelled
Initian?
Initian?
A guide initian.
What I heard is that your body, you are being, I'm not sure if initiate is what you're talking about, but I do see that form of energy where you're being cleansed in some way to move forward. And it's almost like the body is trying to rid something through the skin. Like it also feels like it's tying back to your liver, and um,
A guide
yeah, like the
initiation.
body's
Oh yeah.
trying to process something old, get get old stuff out as things happening. And so you can speed that along by, if you're not already doing it, by decreasing or getting rid of any processed foods and sugars out of your diet. Because I see a very like I see a light going into you where it feels to me like there's only so much room in there, and the light is coming in and old stuff's got to go out for the new light to be
Wow.
assimilated, is how I
That
see it.
seems to really like resonate for her.
She's in her
Oh,
inner circle,
good.
so we
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
We know enough about her that that's really light.
She
Wow.
said spot on.
Yeah.
Healing
Perfect.
food addiction. Oh, she has
Wow.
such a
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
light for sure.
I can relate to that one too. I'm from New Orleans. Everything was about food, and it's not always an easy path to get off of that. But when
Yeah.
you start to do it more and more, and you realize, wow, I'm a spirit. I'm just here having this experience, and I'm just going to honor that spirit in me and not put all this other stuff in there. It's life-changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as a degreed nutritionist, I've never, I will have my Diet Coke addictions back in the day, but
We all seem to have something.
yeah, we all have something, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
detoxed from it though. I started drinking tea for the longest time.
Mm.
Now I just drink regular Coke, but I only have like one a day.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen to your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fabulous. Uh, wow. Well, let's tell everyone how they can work with you.
Oh,
And my
well,
brain is just wah, which
yeah.
is kind
So
of a
she's
fun
going to bring up the
special offer.
and share it. And if you could just walk us through it to let us know what we can receive in working with you. So hang on just a second.
Okay.
I think this is it.
Yep.
We go back to this to bring it up, I think.
I'm going to read from the chat while she's pulling that up. Brianna said, "Oh no, I was just letting y'all know that that is how I listen to spirit work while she's cleaning and stuff. But thank you for sharing all that great information with the chat. So I'm pretty sure that it was by no accident that we were sharing all those
I
good
think it's
resources.
important to put a light on how important immersing yourself into these different frequencies is. I mean, I just told Leonka before the show started, I said, this is kind of like a virtual retreat. I'm starting to feel some of those energies as if I was actually on a retreat. So
y'all, like we are the host of
we
these
have to be here
summits.
for every single one of these. We have to.
So receiving the energy. That's funny. That we're receiving the energies and the transformations too. So sometimes when we come out of this studio, we're like, whoa, like all like, I'm like, I gotta go take a nap.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really, there's a lot of energy that moves.
Yeah.
It's really cool though.
It's fun. All right, Michelle. There's 2 sessions on this page, I believe.
Yep.
And you need to choose which one that you really want to do. So Michelle, why don't you talk about these 2 different sessions?
Well, I mean, if it's okay with you, they can choose both. You don't have to limit yourself. You can take advantage of both specials if you want to.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure how everyone does it, but so the first one there is a mediumship reading, psychic mediumship reading with me. And for that type of session, you can literally ask me anything, and I will ask Spirit what the answer is and give you the answer that I get. We can also tap into the energies of any departed people who have passed and are in the spirit world that you want to connect with. I'm pretty good at connecting with spirits that have crossed over, and I'm pretty good at connecting with even earthbound spirits that need help. And a lot of times when that happens, I'll give instructions to people on how to help them, or sometimes I just do some volunteer work and help some spirits. But anyway, we can connect with departed people, or we can connect with any information you want to, life, career, money, love, or just see what comes up. Sometimes people come, they have a set of questions they want answered, and at least half the other time, I would think, people just show up and they just want to see what spirit has to say, and I'm happy to do either. So
Fabulous.
that's the first one. And then the second one is it's called Sacred Light Code Activation. I actually trademarked my method of doing it, and so that's why you see that there. But it's the session that says on my site "Speak Light Language," and that is basically a longer version of what we did today, just one-on-one, where I do some energy work on you, and that can be remotely or in person if you're in the area, by phone or by Zoom or in person. And I work on your energy a little bit, and then I get a set of words from Spirit to have you repeat, and then I have you repeat those. And Spirit tells me when it's time for you to start on your own speaking. And at that point, you can either repeat the words that I've already given you, which is what most people do, or just start speaking whatever comes out. So for most people, the way it works is they repeat the words I've given them, and then other words start sneaking in that I have not given them. And I write those words down as they're saying them as best I can spell them. And then I mirror those words back to them. And then it grows for them. And then we go back and forth throughout the session, speaking light language with each other to grow their ability. Some people start more quickly than others. Some people will do back and forth over and over again, repeating and repeating until they actually start speaking it. It's only been, I think, one time that someone didn't start speaking it during the session, and they told me that their mind was in the way and that they were embarrassed. So
Yeah.
it does require the willingness to open your mouth and just speak anything that comes out, and that can be difficult for people.
Yeah.
But it's been over 100 people. I haven't kept track of how many, but it's been so many people who just started speaking it as if they've been doing it. So sometimes it's a little slower than others, but it almost always works. So,
That's fabulous.
So
yeah.
yes, that it works. Yeah.
It does.
Oh, how cool.
Especially since that one person was able to acknowledge that their mind was in the way.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
funny. One time my daughter was just incredibly frustrated, and I was just like, let's together, we're just gonna full blast scream, let it all out, like let it go, like drop the guard, let's do it. And then I'm like, screaming my ass off, and she's like, because she hasn't worked that full expression, and there's a wrongness around it. So
Right,
there's
right.
a wrongness just around expressing and screaming.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have got to, have this
And I know
blocked off
you didn't teach her that, so it
No.
must come from
almost,
you pre-programming.
yeah.
Right?
And the world we live in, like all that doubt
Programming.
that's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that programming, right? There's all those sayings like children should be seen and not heard. And I had a school teacher one time make me write 1,000 times that empty cans make the most noise. I didn't even know what it meant, but there's all that programming around, like be quiet, be quiet.
Yeah.
And so many people get that in childhood. And then when they grow up, they don't know how to use their throat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like she got it from the public school system and the kids she was around and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when I realized that and it did bring up when I married my husband, we would watch sitcoms together, and my husband would roar and laugh at things, right? And I'd be like, keep. So I didn't have my full laughter on. And he was like, why won't it's funny? Like, why are you why are you snickering? I was like, well, that's what my parents did.
Yeah.
So I've had to work this in a way I didn't even realize it until I just said that. So it's kind of,
It's so
it does
healing.
take time to like be loud.
Yeah. It's very healing to do it though, when you can do it and like sing in private, just like let it out, just sing as loud as you can.
Yeah. Sing, dance, like nobody's watching.
Absolutely.
Always.
It's a public service announcement.
It is, yes.
Yeah, good girl syndrome is what Tiffany said on the chat.
It's a thing.
I never had a problem with that.
It's funny. I've actually had to come out and declare I'm going to be as weird as I actually am, because I really trust that this is my path and this is my way. And when I did that, it's like I even got weirder,
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
When you
I love it.
Own it.
Yeah, I can own it now.
Yeah, it gets stronger.
I get judged a little bit by my family members, but that's okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I just had a birthday party and everyone knew I was kind of weird all the time. My best friends always did. They didn't really care. But even my aunt came up to me. She's like, I listen to your podcast. And then she's, the last person I thought she would be. She was like, I totally believe in all that stuff. And I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Weird.
And it was weird.
Like they're like closet spiritualistic.
Yes.
Closet mystics.
Yeah. And we were laughing about my grandpa being wise beyond his times. He used to tell us, get that energy ball out of here, open all these windows. And we were like, what? But I mean, it's all of us are there's so many waking up right now, and it's just an amazing time, just like where we started this call from. It's an amazing time to be on earth, and we're so I know sometimes we can easily forget that we're so lucky. That I don't want to be so lucky, but like so blessed in just being able to have this experience with all of you. Before, if I didn't have the show, or if I didn't have like these people you to talk with and everyone else here, I know I would go crazy. I'd be like, with that one person inside the library trying to find one book about mysticism or anything. I mean, it's just a really fun time to be able to connect with each other as well.
And be a part of a community like this
Yes.
of all us weirdos.
So important.
Thank you, Michelle. This has been a fabulous call. Any parting words?
Oh, thank you too. I really appreciate all of you that are here. And those parting words, I think the thing I should say is you are ultimately a spirit, and you are very far away from where you came from, and you have forgotten how special you are. And it is through the uncomfortableness of not remembering that you get the urges to start remembering, and then you go down this journey of spiritual awakening. So keep going. It's who you are. It's literally who you are. And we are having a push right now energetically from so many different places to go deep within and to learn more about who we are as spirits. So I encourage you to all do that in whatever way feels right to you, because we're on the front of the wave here, spreading the light on the planet, and it won't take everybody to wake up. It'll just take enough of us that our light spreads. And in music, I think it's called forced resonance, where that vibration, just like a singing bowl, goes over the whole room. And so keep going with whatever you're doing. Don't give up. We have forgotten how special we are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, some of the comments for the chat says, thank you very much. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Thank you so much for tuning in from Ireland. Really appreciate awesome call. So very grateful for your reading today with lots of different prayer signs, and then lots of hearts and love. So everyone is just really resonating with your talk today. Oh,
I'm in tears. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
making
you.
this a better world. And thank you for doing this summit.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful, Michelle.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you guys. Now, Bianca and I get to talk about money.
we do, but we have a couple moments before we have to get started. So if you wanted to grab a quick water, right? We start at the 30. So
Okay. Oh, I thought we started right now.
probably do actually. But if you want to grab a quick water, we will just give you a quick second to get some water, and
little
then
announcements. I'm going to run to the restroom real
Yes.
quick.
Everyone, we are doing a live event at the end of the year. So it's November 7th through the 9th here in Austin, Texas. It's going to be resort. It's going to be retreat style here in, we'll have very much like a, like the circle, we'll have some fire dancing and some embodiment. And Jennifer is going to come on and do some body work. I'm going to talk about and do a group activation of QHHT. So if you've ever heard of quantum hypnotic healing, I'll help take someone through the hypnosis process in which they connect with their past life regression. It also shows you how you can connect with yourself connected to source. So it's going to be really fun. We're super excited. If you want to find out more information about that event, you can just go to howhustle.com/event. Also, we have a couple of different little bonus upgrades that if you want to select it, everything that we have for the replay is all on our live page. So you can go to www.howhustle.com/live, and you can find all of the speaker special offers, all of the replay from the summit. Plus, there's a couple places where it says like a VIP upgrade. You can buy the replays and keep them forever for lifetime. And plus, you'll get other summits packaged in with that. So you'll be able to have those on lifetime as well. And you can click around. We also have what we call our summit enhancers. It's our hertz frequencies. It's 8 hours of hertz frequencies in which it's just $8. We worked with the sound engineer to create that. And basically what it does is just allows you to receive the information that we have from the different speakers without, it kind of works on a subconscious level so that you can receive without having to put up all your blockers and swipe things away. So anyway, those are the kinds of things that you'll find on that page if you just click around. And we're excited.
And the event page now has some of our previous events up there. There's a video, like you can actually see some of the body work that I do, kind of like the environment, the interaction So go to hustle.com/event, and then you can kind of get the taste of it.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm expecting a fireside chat,
Yeah, I just said
singing
that.
bowls, Leonka doing a QHHT session for all of us to
Fun.
remember some of our past lives, me working on bodies after you have terror from your past life. No, just kidding.
Oh man, I love it.
You know, and helping you really integrate some of these frequencies through your being and your body, as well as healing your body. So, yes, it'll be super fun. And, you know, I actually think of these events as you coming to grow your capacities, right? I mean, I've gone to events so that my capacities came more online. So this is just a way for your capacities to come more online. So.
Oh, Tiffany says, I'm so excited, the most excited to laugh with you in person.
Yay!
We're super
quite excited
I
too.
know. Okay.
I'm going to stop the recording and restart.